to another episode. Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Welcome to another episode.
Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Welcome to another episode of Stay Rad Wine Blog TV. I am speaking to you right now on Saturday night. You're probably going to see this Sunday morning, but Saturday night, February 27th, and as everybody knows, in 2016, as everybody knows, the last Saturday night of every single February is hashtag Open That Bottle Night, OTBN. And the idea of Open That Bottle Night is to, quit sitting on these fancy bottle of wines and waiting for years and years and years for the perfect time to open it up. And instead just open that bottle and enjoy it. Oftentimes what we see when people are doing the hashtag OTBN posts, they're doing these bottles that they've just been lusting after for years, and you see lots of people just being very stoked on this stuff. I thought today I'd do a little bit of a different angle. I have been sitting on this bottle for about a year, and I have not opened it because I guess I haven't found the right time to try it, because I don't know if this is necessarily a bottle of wine that's going to appeal to me. So on some level, I am opening this to get it out of my life. That being said, I think there's some really interesting stuff that's happening here. You'll notice on the label, the grape variety here is red muscadine. So that is Vitis rotundifolia, if you go and look it up. So it's not Vitis vinifera, which we are typically used to in those wine grapes coming from Europe. This is a grape that is native to the southeastern United States and Central America. I guess you could say muscadine is a table grape, but the more I'm reading up on it, and I don't believe I've ever eaten a muscadine, what I read is that the skin is so thick on the muscadine that people often bite a hole into it and then suck the pulp out, which I've never eaten a grape that way. But they also say that a lot of people do like to make jams and jellies out of the muscadine, and some folks even make wine for this. The reason why I have this bottle is because my amazing sister, who, by the way, got a PR in her 10K today, so kudos to you, Laura. I'm really happy for you. My amazing sister, every time she visits a state and sees some random wine that she knows I've never tried before from states aside from California and Oregon and Washington and New York, she likes to pull those aside for me because she knows I don't really often get a chance to try those. Problem is when you get stuff coming out of, this is from Belle Meade Plantation in Nashville, Tennessee. The problem is we get out to these different areas, oftentimes the only wine that they do make is from these American table grapes, and they tend to be a little bit different. If you've ever had Manischewitz before, that is from table grapes. That's from Concord grapes usually, and it's been a while since I've had the Manny, and as much as I did enjoy that in college, typically as we really get into wines, we tend to gravitate towards those European grapes, the Vitis vinifera. Oftentimes these are wines that are of a sweeter nature. Oftentimes these wines are described as being foxy, which is just another way of saying it's that grapey flavor. Typically when you drink wine, it doesn't necessarily taste like grape juice. Unless you're drinking that Manischewitz. Remember that Manischewitz, right? So let's talk about this one. Color-wise, this is speaking rosé to me. And muscadine, the varieties, you are getting a whole lot of different colors that could show up in this muscadine grape. This looks like it had, minimal skin contact over the course of about a week or so. There's not a whole lot of information about the winemaking process here. On the back of the label for this Belle Meade Plantation, and this is a non-vintage wine here, they're talking more about how they breed really awesome racehorses, which I don't know if that's a great thing to be pitching when you're talking about wine here. I think maybe it's more of a souvenir. But I'm imagining you got, a week or so of skin contact. There's not a whole lot of red color there. It's got kind of that light cranberry color that I was noticing in some of the rosés I was drinking from Bonnie Doon Vineyards recently. Let's get my nose in here. So I talked to you about like that foxy characteristic, that just grapey flavor. I think this is the first time I've ever smelled a wine here and said, yes, this really does taste like grapes. Those of you who say that every single wine you ever smell or taste tastes like grapes, what I want you to do is get like a red muscadine or some sort of American rootstock. Get your Manischewitz and compare that to the more traditional wines that you're going to find in the store. The American stuff is grapey. The American stuff is foxy. That American grape varieties. When you're dealing with Cabernets and Merlots and most of the stuff that you find, you really don't get that grape flavor, right? Or aroma. Yeah, this is just super foxy, super grapey. I mean, it's like you got a big bowl of grapes, and actually my mouth is kind of watering because I kind of want to eat a grape right now. I'm getting a sense on the nose that there is going to be quite a bit of residual sugar here, and honestly, maybe it smells like, if you've ever tried to make wine before, I mean, this is what that grape juice smells like before the yeast ferments that sugar and turns it into alcohol and carbon dioxide. I just can't get past the grapiness of it. I don't know how else to say this. It smells like red table grapes. And a little bit of Kool-Aid, like maybe some fruit punch. Yeah. So on the palate, this is sweet. This is grapey, foxy. There is a little bit of like a cranberry. There is a little bit of like a fruit punchy, like pineapple, mango, papaya type of play on here. There is an okay acidity there, but the residual sugar here is just so overwhelming. And I'm not like a big like refined sugar guy. If you listen to me, just start getting crazy on the We Like Drinking podcast, I kind of talk quite a bit about how much I hate refined sugars and soda pop. So it's not something that I'm that typically used to getting into. And granted, there are plenty of like nice wines that do have a little bit of residual sugar there, but when you talk about like a really good like German Riesling, there's such like a higher level of acidity, and there are so many other like secondary and tertiary flavors that are going to kind of counterbalance that sweetness and make it a lot more fun. And this is fun. I mean, this makes me feel like a kid again. It really does just kind of taste like grape juice, Kool-Aid, fruit punch. I think it's a really nice souvenir, and I think that's so sweet because of the sugar, but also really sweet that my sister went out of her way to pick this up for me as she visited this place in, what part of Tennessee? In Nashville, Tennessee. So, I mean, I really do appreciate that. I'm glad that I did actually finally get an opportunity to jump into this. I would say that this is a wine that would go great as like a sangria. I think on a really hot day, super chilled down, maybe with like mixed with like some, I was gonna say Sprite, but honestly just like some straight up tonic water and like a squeeze of lime or something. Like I think that'd be really nice. Wow, and this is so sweet and so sugary. I feel like I can just shove the cork back in, maybe find some room in the back of my refrigerator and like save the rest until summer. I don't know how well this is going to break down over time or how quickly, but it might kind of be worth a shot. It's non-vintage, so your guess as far as when this was bottled is as good as mine, I'd assume, because there is that like really rich red color there, that it's relatively young. That color would kind of break down over time. But again, I mean, wow. Seriously, You college kids that are watching this might be your introductory wine right here. Get rid of that Mad Dog 2020. Get rid of that Night Train. This is maybe like a subtle step up from the Manischewitz. Although this has not been blessed. This is not kosher, so you could not have it at Passover. But any other time of the year, I think it's going to be legit. Wow. Kind of glad I opened this bottle. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Till next time, everybody, stay rad.